This is a short video about how I change the engine coolant in a Hyundai Sonata. Basically what I do is go under the car and remove this piece of trim. And underneath the trim there's a drain plug, which I'll show you after I finish jacking up the car, so I can get under there and work on it a little bit more easily. So I jacked up the car a little bit, jacked up the driver's side, which is useful later too when you are trying to refill the cooling system, because it lifts the fill side where the radiator cap is higher than the other side, the passenger side, and that makes it easier to get the air bubbles out. So you might not have to jack the car up to drain the coolant, but it sure makes it a lot easier filling it if you do. Just remove these bolts that hold this trim piece in place. They are 10mm head. I think you gotta use 5 of these little bolts. Although it could be, after I remove 3 of them, the trim will be, or this little plastic shield will be hanging down low enough that I can get it out of the way enough to get the drain plug, which you can now see right there, that orange plastic plug with a it looks like a Phillips head, but it's actually a cross head. It's not really Phillips head. That might be all I need to do in order to get a you just really need to have enough clearance to get your bucket, your catch pan, underneath the plug. I don't think I'm going to remove all 5. And then I'm going to try to use just a regular, this is an old screwdriver I've had for a long time. It's got a wide head. And I'm going to try to use that to fit into this plug, which is made out of plastic and easily mangled. Yeah, that's coming loose. It's pretty easy to mangle. I know I mangled it last year when I did this, and so I bought a replacement to put in this year when I reinstall the plug. You really just need this thing finger tight when you're putting it back in. It should come out pretty easy too. You don't want to over tighten it because it's just plastic and it'll twist off. So loosen and remove this plug. And only a little coolant is coming out right now because I've got the radiator cap closed, but I'm about to go up to the engine compartment and right about now loosen the radiator cap, and you can see the flow accelerates because now air can get in. So I'm just going to remove the cap up top and give this a chance to drain out. So that's the old drain plug, and it got a little bit mangled last time I removed it, so I got a new one from the dealer. It's part number 25318-38000, and it was under $2. So not a big deal. So I'm gonna install the new plug because the most of the coolant has come out. So put that in and get it started by hand. And then using my standard screwdriver, I'm just going to just get it till it's tight and no tighter, and it's not going to leak. If you try to really put a lot of torque on it, you will do what I did last time, which is mangle it. So that's all looking good. At this point, we're ready to put the trim back up and then refill the radiator and the cooling system. So I always put this far bolt in first because it gets everything aligned. Just you know, get it threaded, but don't tighten it all the way down. And then you can install the other two as well. And they should go in pretty easily. These, as a friend of mine said, are not holding the car together. So you don't need to tighten them down. You're just holding a piece of plastic trim onto the front cross member of the car. So you just need to get it snug but not too tight. You don't want to crack the plastic or strip anything. So just tighten it down. I use a really small 1/4-inch drive socket with a handle that I grab right at the base so that I prevent myself from putting too much torque and breaking something, which, being an amateur, I have a tendency to do. So now I'm ready to refill. So when refilling, I recommend using a funnel, and I always catch whatever fluid I'm going to replace into something where I can measure it and figure out how much liquid I removed, and then I know when I'm refilling exactly how much liquid has to go back in. In this case, I've done this job a time or two, and so I know that it's about a gallon comes out when you drain the radiator. So I've got myself a gallon of standard coolant that I've mixed up 60% coolant, 40% distilled water. And the trick, obviously, is to pour it in without spilling, which do as I say and not as I do, because I'm definitely have spilled a little bit of it. You can't pour it in too fast or it overflows the neck of this radiator. Oh, I can hear gurgling. That's a good sound as the liquid percolates down. About halfway there. Two-thirds. Whew, my arm's getting sore. Getting pretty close to the top now. You can hear the sound start to change. When you get near the top of the radiator, it gets to a higher and higher pitch as the airspace inside gets smaller and smaller. There you go. So it fills up right to the top, and you'll see the coolant is all the way up at the top like that. And it could still be air trapped inside the hoses. Because I've only put in about 3/4 of a gallon of what I mixed up, which I know should be between a gallon and 3/4 of a gallon. So at this point, the thing to do is make sure that it's full all the way to the top like that, so that you are connected to the overflow tube, or close to it, and then put this pressure cap on and tighten it. At this point, you just want to run the car and check the level of the coolant. Clean up any spills, and double check the level of the coolant. You should be good to go. And then once you've got it full in the radiator, open up the overflow bottle, which you'll see has a long hose in it, and at the bottom, it's pretty hard to see, there is there's a ridge that indicates the full level. And if you can see the ridge isn't covered with coolant, then you need to add some coolant to the overflow bottle. I'm going to do that now. It's just getting to the ridge. If you look at the bottle from the side in the engine compartment, you can see that it's got an F stamped on that ridge on the outside. It's pretty hard to see. From the within the bottle, you can see the ridge, and you just fill it up until the ridge is just covered, and that's the proper level. Then you put the tube back in the bottle and snap on the cover that says engine coolant. Oops. Like that. And that's that. I'm going to start the car and see if the level is right. And if not, add a little bit. But I put in about a gallon so far, so I know I'm not far off from where I should be. That's the great thing about measuring, is you know exactly how much came out, so you know how much has to go back in as long as the level was correct when you started the job, which is a good thing to check at the beginning. And that's that.